Morning, students. Paul Strykowski, your Associate Dean in the College of Science and Engineering. Congratulations. Welcome to orientation for the fall 21 class of the College of Science and Engineering. In addition to being your Associate Dean, which really means I'm responsible to make sure your experience here is challenging yet professional and exciting one, but also I'm a professor of mechanical engineering. In that role, I teach fun stuff like thermodynamics and fluid mechanics. And every year, we also take a group to Tanzania, and any major can go on that trip. And we do water system design in East Africa. And so something you should look forward to, perhaps, if you're interested, maybe when you're in your sophomore, junior year. Today, I'm going to give you an introduction to the college. This is just an introduction. There's a lot I will say that you won't remember, but that's all right. We're going to be talking about this for some time now. I am going to share some slides with you and go through those slides. And again, you are the class of 2025. And that means, in fact, we did a survey before you signed up for, when you signed up for orientation, we did a survey and it indicated about 88 to 90% of you expect to graduate in 4 years. And that's probably what will happen. And so that's why you're the class of 2025, crossing the stage in May of that year. You are quite a remarkable class. This incoming group is 1,450 students, which actually is not that large relative to the university itself. The College of Science and Engineering is relatively small. I should tell you, however, there were over 10,000 students who applied to the college this year. So being in this select group is truly a credit to you and your accomplishments. And certainly you should be very proud of that. ACT is one measure of success. About half of you didn't even take it. And actually, I'm thrilled that you didn't have to take it. The college really looks at your overall scholastic accomplishments over the last 4 years, and less so on how you did on one day when you took a test. So academically, you're incredibly accomplished. When I started at the university nearly 35 years ago, we were about 10% women. And this year, we've hit an all-time high, over 30%. With 486 women in the freshman class, which is a record, which is just phenomenal. We also have the most diverse class we've had in our history, with nearly 29% students of color in the College of Science and Engineering freshman class. We are a land grant university, and as such, we largely come from the state of Minnesota, like all other land grants. We're about 50% from the large metro area of 7 counties, another 13% from the greater state of Minnesota. We have about 13% of reciprocity, Wisconsin and North and South Dakota, and another 13% from all over the country. This year, we have 2 from Hawaii. I don't know what they were thinking, but no, we were excited to have them. And from wherever you are today, again, welcome. Now, as you can imagine, certainly you were very academically accomplished, but to be honest, that was only part of the reason you were selected to join us this fall. The other is that you weren't very involved in activities outside of the classroom. Leadership opportunities, clubs, many of you were involved in sports, theater, music, the arts, volunteering, many of you held jobs. All of these things speak more broadly to your capacity to do multiple things as you grow as a professional and as you learn in the College of Science and Engineering in the years to come. We also know that you are the interesting fact we've learned by reading the pre-orientation survey that you completed is in the room today, about 70% of you don't really know what you're going to study yet. I think that is pretty normal, pretty common. In fact, we spend the first semester and really the whole first year exploring majors, trying to understand the connection between majors and careers, because that's really, really important. About 30% of our students, when they come in, know what they want to do and they pursue it. When you meet with your advising team today, I highly encourage you to share with them everything you're thinking. Some of you would like to get multiple degrees or get minors. Some of you would like to study abroad. There's a wide range of activities you're going to accomplish. I guess right now, not to worry too much about that. We'll talk about it and deal with it when the time is appropriate. But we will take a look at majors, and the more majors you have on your mind that you're interested in, the better, as far as I'm concerned. I indicated earlier, about 88% of you expect to graduate in 4 years. About 10% of you hope to graduate in 3 years or less. That's great. I guess we'll cover that when we get to it. That's a little bit down the road, but This incoming class of over 80% of you will be living in the university residence halls, which makes it very convenient because the residence halls are very close to all of your classes that you'll be taking in your first year in the College of Science and Engineering. We have about 90 student groups in the college, and about 75% of you indicated an interest. I would actually say that at the end, most of you, closer to 90+% will be involved in student organizations. If for no other reason that every individual major and career area has a professional organization that you should consider joining. Even if you're not terribly involved as an undergraduate, you will want to be as you move into your professional lives. And your generation, I'll be honest, it's humbling. You're very altruistic. Nearly 90% of you would like to do volunteer work or community service work while you're a student. We have lots of those opportunities. You will learn in the next, particularly the first semester, how to get engaged and connected with those opportunities as you advance. So the possibilities, I mean, certainly, we have 20 different degree programs, 12 in engineering, 6 in the physical sciences and mathematics, computer science and data science. And it is true, you will have really cool titles on your business cards. These are all of the majors. I'm not going to list them off here. One thing I can suggest to you is, while they all sound different, there's a lot of similarities between what our students do. If you're interested in, say, renewable plastics, or you're interested in green energy or global climate or medical devices, there isn't just one major that encompasses those particular areas. So telling your advisors and being honest about the things you're most interested in broadly is the best way to help us understand what major might be the best fit for you. Now, while it's true that you will need to graduate with one degree, really the possibilities with a degree from this college are limitless. We have more students per capita every year that go to medical school from the College of Science and Engineering, even though as freshmen they had no clue that was something they were interested in. Many of you go into research design. Many of you will have minors or class emphasis areas in business and entrepreneurship. And as you may or may not know, the largest percent of CEOs in the US of Fortune 500 companies, women and men, have degrees in science and engineering. So really it's limitless. I would also encourage you not to underestimate the value of your liberal education, meaning things like communication skills, dealing with ambiguity, dealing with the fact that you won't be the best at everything, and learning how to navigate those areas in that space is really quite important. So who are we? We are Student Services. The name of the Student Services makes some sense. We're here to help you navigate the University of Minnesota, which is indeed quite large. It has every opportunity you can imagine, but we need to perhaps help you on occasion to point you in the right direction. We are located, the offices of our unit are located in 10 Church Street. Church Street's the main pedestrian mall. So there's the mall itself, which is right behind me in this virtual background. That is Northrop Hall. And just one street to the east, if you're used to compass orientation, is Church Street, and that's where we're located. We really have 3 primary areas that we focus on: academic advising. You will meet your academic advising team and individual advisor today. And advising covers a wide range of things. I suppose the first thing that comes to mind is discussing courses that you need to take or would like to take, making sure that you consider all the possible majors or areas of emphasis you'd like to study while you're here, as well as what experience you've had so far. Many of you have AP credits, PSEO credits, college in the schools, et cetera. And we need to make sure that we give you full credit for those and provide you the best starting point in your freshman year. Also is the Career Services team. The College of Science and Engineering has its own Career Services office dedicated just to our students. Every year we have 2 major career fairs. The office helps you do resume development, mock interviews, get you set up for interviews themselves, and in the end, we'll help you negotiate salary and things of that nature as part of your professional development. If you're interested in graduate school, which is a decision that usually occurs a little bit later in your development, that is another great option to think about. I would say about 30% of our graduates go on to master's and PhD programs all over the country and the world. Finally, collegiate life. The office that in some regards we say is everything outside the classroom. You can get involved in student organizations, as I mentioned. You can apply for scholarship funds, study abroad. K-12 outreach, diversity, inclusivity, equity issues. All of this can be done in the Collegiate Life Office. Again, I think sometimes this is overwhelming to hear all these possibilities. I would say for the most part, just stay calm. Don't worry about it. The most important thing is to start your academics on a solid footing. We'll fill in the additional pieces as time proceeds. We have a course all of you are required to take. It's a 1-credit course. It's called the CSE 1001. And we will see each one of you every week for the first semester of your college experience. Because there's over 1,400 of you, we have like 39 or 40 different sections. So the section size is between 35 and 40. We'll talk about a number of things. I just mentioned major exploration, which is obviously a big issue. That is not just what major fits, but how does that dovetail into your career plans, time management, teamwork, all sorts of things. The team will discuss this with you. And again, the bottom line, I think our students tell us the most important thing about this class is you get to meet other students from the college. You get to form study groups with students who might be in your same chemistry, calculus, or physics courses. And we highly encourage this. It is more efficient to study together. It's more fun to study together, and you help motivate each other to proceed satisfactory through your coursework. So, the number one reason we're here, let's make no bones about it, is academics. The academics in the college has a certain standard that I want to describe. It's not published publicly, but it's called the Big 10 Plus standard. I meet every year with the associate deans in the Big 10 Plus to discuss these standards. I'm going to share with those standards with you now. The Big 10 Plus stands for the Big 10, which actually is 14 schools, which is confusing, but it is what it is. And the following schools: Stanford, Berkeley, Carnegie Mellon, Cornell, MIT, Georgia Tech, and Texas. The 21 schools described here would like to believe we're the best in the world, and we'd like to keep it that way. And the way we accomplish that is make sure we compare notes every year, make sure we have common standards, and I'm going to describe those standards to you. First and foremost, part of your orientation was to fill out a survey, and we asked you how much time you plan to study outside of your classes and discussions. The survey results, or about 2/3 of you said you were going to spend between 1 and 20 hours per week outside of lectures. And that is pretty typical year over year. However, the Big 10 Plus standard, or the expectation for our students in these 21 schools to be successful, is that you're going to spend between 30 and 40 hours per week studying outside of class, doing homework and things of that nature, doing lab reports. I will be honest, very few of you will study 30, 40 hours per week, probably until after mid-October. And the reason for that is you've been successful in how you've studied in high school. Those habits, good formed habits, will continue until really midterm exams. And at midterm exam, there's sort of a correction that occurs between high school study habits, let's say, and college learning habits. And so bottom line is, out of the gun, you will probably not spend 30, 40 hours per week, but we'd like to encourage you to think that eventually this will be a requirement if you want to succeed. There's, of course, exceptions to those rules, but that is basically what our expectation is. So you might say, this guy's trying to kill us here, 30 to 40 hours a week studying. Well, let's take a look at it. The week has 168 hours. I took an example here, which is a student who has 15 credits. You will typically have between 15 and 17 credits this fall, depending on what pre-prep you have done, high school credits you may be bringing in, other things like which majors you're choosing. If you're in class 15 hours and you study between 30 and 40 hours, I write 35 here, that's 50 hours. 50 hours is not even a third of the week. So as you can see from this pie chart, you are roughly 1/3 academics, roughly 1/3 of your time will be spent sleeping, which is actually not something we'd like to see you cut out. Sleeping is very, very important. And then you have 1/3 of your time for personal activities, obviously eating and getting ready for the day. Some of you will work outside the classroom and to earn additional money. Entertainment, we have a recreational facility which is spectacular, the size of literally 2 small towns. And even if you don't like to exercise, go there, lay on the floor, and just stare at the ceiling and chill out. All in all, though, there's plenty of time. It will require time management. This is something that many of you have already navigated, others maybe less so, but it's an opportunity to start thinking about that. So along those lines, I'm giving you an example of what a a college first semester schedule will look like for our students. You'll see here students are going to classes, in this particular case, from 8 in the morning, and some nights till late as 8:30 at night, but there are breaks during the day. And these breaks during the day are actually pretty critical. Some of those breaks will be an opportunity for you to relax, exercise. Other opportunities would include, and we would encourage, study groups together, meeting with friends, say at Starbucks every Tuesday morning. You've got some time. This particular student has a lot of time on Tuesday morning. You might say, well, I'm going to sleep in. Well, you can do that too. But again, it's sort of a balance. And the more you can get done academically during the day, the less you might have to do at night. And of course, it's tied a great deal to your personal clocks, whether you're sort of, you might say, a morning person or evening person. But again, balancing these things is really sort of the key here at this point. So I want to talk to you. Remember, I'm discussing now basically the academics of you, the freshman class entering CSE, but also the freshman class entering all of the schools I just mentioned. So everything I'm going to share with you is being shared at Stanford and at Michigan and at MIT and at Penn State and Michigan State, Wisconsin, and of course, Minnesota. So on average, the students in all of these 21 schools have basically the same academic profile. On a 4-point scale, the average GPA of our high school entering, high school senior class entering college has about a 3.9 GPA. Obviously, you must know that every school has a very, very different way of grading. Some grade more harshly, you might say, or you might get more A's and more B's. But in any event, it's sort of an average. The reason I'm bringing this up is not to really opine so much on high school record, but to talk about what is likely to happen to you in the first semester in the College of Science and Engineering. And the same thing that happens to students at all of these 21 schools. The average GPA at the end of the first semester will be about a 3-point. That we consider outstanding. And by the way, of the 21 schools, 20 of the schools give grades like this. The one school that does not is MIT, because MIT is concerned about how students will freak out by having a GPA drop from a 3.9 to a 3.1. So they do a pass-fail system in the first semester. We don't, but I can guarantee you that your GPA will go up pretty much every semester until you graduate. So one of the things I mentioned sort of tongue-in-cheek earlier was that midterms are sort of a big benchmark point to sort of give you a sense for how you are doing in terms of your study skills and preparation skills, and also your preparedness coming from high school. So I'm going to show you right now the midterm average exam grades from last fall's freshman class for Calculus 1, Chemistry 1, and Physics 1. First and foremost, when you look at these numbers, we grade very, very differently at the university than most of you are experienced or have experienced in high school. As you can see, the calculus midterm exam had an average of 75% out of 100. The physics had an average of 55 out of 100. Now you might say to yourself, a 50 or 60 in most high schools is a failing grade. Here, if you had a 65 on that first physics test, you probably got an A- or B+. So again, the focus here is not the numbers, it's not so much worrying about what your grade is, but realizing that the expectations for studying and learning are going to be different. Some of you will just jump right into this. Others will need to realize that so-called cramming overnight for 8 hours is not the way to prepare for a university at the caliber of the University of Minnesota. So these are your typical high school grades. I've seen your transcripts. They're rather boring. A. Ooh, an A-. What did you screw up? So the point is that your grades were really quite close to pure A's. Many of you have never seen less than an A- in your lives. That is not really typical in our college or at the Big 10 plus schools. Some of you, many of you will do very, very well in mathematics. Some of you, however, out there, maybe half of you really love chemistry, but don't love physics so much, and vice versa, love physics, but don't love chemistry. That's totally normal. That's to be expected. If you're going into a chemistry intensive major, you're likely to do better in chemistry. If you're going into a physics intensive major like mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, or civil engineering, you might do better in physics and not so well in chemistry. So it's okay not to be perfect in everything anymore. And again, part of it is just learning how to learn. This is not about a grade race. This is really about being successful during your academic time and after you graduate. So in some sense, don't take this too literally. In high school, you put in moderate effort for exceptional grades. I'm not saying you didn't work hard, but relative to the university, your effort was probably moderate, and you spent as much time outside the classroom involved in, whether it was jazz club or or mathematics or first robotics, what have you, theater. But at the university, you're going to put in an exceptional effort academically for what you are going to consider moderate grades. We do not consider them moderate grades. I will share with your parents tomorrow that they should understand that an A is not the standard bearer here. Really, we want students to focus on B's. You're going to get some A's, you might get a C, and we want you to understand that going in. So I'm about ready to be done here. I'll let you go off to the next part of your program. But there's an important question I like to bring up. I will see you all in August, face-to-face. We're looking forward to that. I'm sure all of you out there after 18 months or whatever it's been of this period, I don't use the C word here, but there is a question that you will either have asked yourself today, you might have asked it, you might ask it after midterms or when you arrive or when your grades are awarded in December. But it's an important question, and I'm going to just pose it to you now. Am I smart enough? Let me tell you, I've been in higher education for nearly 40 years. I have a PhD from Yale. I've been around this business a long time, and I can tell you, you're smart enough. Check that box. Never again, not just this year, not for 4 years at the university, but the rest of your life, you don't ever have to worry about being smart enough. I don't want you talking to your parents after midterms exams saying, I don't think I can do this, I'm not smart enough. I don't want you telling your friends. And worst of all, I don't want you thinking it, because it erodes the real important issue here. And that is to work hard, learn what you can learn, develop your learning skills, your study skills, if you like. The bottom line, forget about it. It's over. The only thing that matters from this point forward and the rest of your life, quite frankly, is how hard you're willing to work. Now, this says, of course, I think you probably heard that from your grandparents. Hard work matters, and it really does. And that, of course, the good news is I can't see your faces, but you're probably not smiling now. But I'm telling you, you're smart enough. You've got this. But I'll tell you, hard work is less hard if you know why you're doing it. So the first year at the university, I want you to really think hard about, why are you here? Why are you studying? Certainly, my 3 children who are now grown, they said, why did they go to college? And they might say, well, mom and dad brainwashed us. That we had no other choice. And many of you were in that boat. And that's, of course, really quite normal. But start to think about what you really want to do, what you want to accomplish. And it won't happen overnight. You're 17, 18-year-olds. You don't have all the answers and where you want to be. But give some thought to it, because once you decide and get a sense for what your next move is professionally, it is a lot easier. On that, I don't want you to leave the Zoom call. I will get off and you're going to go into small breakout rooms. Those breakout rooms will have an opportunity for you to start learning about the curriculum, learning about the college, and start ultimately getting your courses set for the fall.